Hey, welcome to Rob Rides Cargo Bikes. In this video, I'm going to be taking a closer look at my 2018 LarryVsHarry Miss Bullitt. No, I'm not always sprinting when I ride this bike, but it is my race bike, so it kind of fits. So this is my 2018 LarryVsHarry Miss Bullitt with the limited edition Shimano Saint group set and fork. This is my second Bullitt, which I bought mainly to race the muscle classic cargo bike races, though I knew I also wanted a non-electric Bullitt since I discovered cargo bikes. I drove a 13-hour round trip from Berlin up to Denmark and back to buy it second-hand from a bike courier firm back in May 2022. So, starting at the front, the main difference of this bike to most of the Bullitts is the Saint fork. It's a 20mm bolt-through axle, so should be stiffer than the regular quick-release version. This Bullitt certainly feels stiffer and more direct than my other one, but this one is quite a bit lighter and has much narrower tyres, which probably accounts for the difference. I'm running the Saint 4-piston brake calipers, and I have a 200mm I-Stec rotor up front. I've got a Schwalbe Marathon Supreme tyre up front on the stock rim, which rolls on the Shimano Saint hub, and yes, I know I should have cleaned it better for this video. The light is a weedy battery light the previous owner left on and basically serves to make the bike legal to ride at night, and I'd really like to upgrade it, so any recommendations, let me know in the comments. Out back, I'm running a 10-speed 1132 cassette and a 38-tooth chainring. I'm towards the bottom of the block quite a lot as it's quite flat in Berlin, but I haven't managed to spin out my biggest gear yet, so no need to get a bigger chainring. That's the 4-piston Saint rear brake caliper with a 180mm I-Stec rotor on the rear. I'd like to go to the 142x12mm bolt-through dropouts, but the Saint hub can't be converted from 135mm width, and I don't want to buy a new hub just for the sake of dropouts, so I'll be sticking with the 135 quick release for now. I've got a Schwalbe Marathon Supreme in a 1.6 width on the rear to match the front. Redshift sent me a pair of their Arclight Pro mountain bike flat pedals to try out earlier this year, and they've been fitted since March with no issues. I did ground out a pedal getting on the gas too early out of a corner at a cargo bike race and ripped a pedal pin out, but that was totally my fault. The pedals have lights in them that can detect whether they're forward or rear facing and automatically change to either a white or red light, which I think is pretty cool. Unfortunately, they're not STVO compliant due to a flashing function they have, so I can't actually legally turn them on while riding, which is a mega bummer. I keep the pedals fitted because Redshift also sent me a light fitting that I can use the pedal lights with. The lights are magnetically connected to the pedals and are easy to swap out, so if my rear light runs out of juice, I can swap it for another one in the pedals. I also have a GoPro mount cable tied to my seat post to capture a rear view when racing, and yeah, I'm one of those people who leaves a race number on the bike for far too long after the race to be cool, but whatever. That's a Brooks Cambion C17 all-weather saddle, which was a bit of a splurge purchase to be honest. I have a C17 on my other Bullitt, and as soon as I sat on it during the test ride, I knew I would end up buying more for other bikes, but no regrets. Moving to the cockpit, I've got the Thompson bar and 50mm stem that came with the Saint group set build, and the bars are cut to 750mm width. The bar doesn't have much sweep at all and seems really straight, but I've just kind of gotten used to it. I still have the Easy Up installed, though I probably only use it maybe once a year, so I could actually probably get rid of it really. I always use my Garmin 530 on this bike. I'm not a data fiend by any means, but I do like to glance at it every now and then, and of course I track the races with it. That's a cheap rip-off of the Spur Cycles bell. Sorry Spur Cycles, €60 for a bell is a bit too rich for me. It works and is loud enough, which is super important on the bike lanes of Berlin. While the bike originally came with Saint brake levers, the previous owner said they both developed leaks and were unreliable for courier work, so they swapped them for the TRP Slate T4 levers. Both systems use mineral oil, so there's been no problems, and while it would be nice to have the complete Saint group set, it's hard to justify the cost of new levers when these work just fine. The grips are T1 something or other, but they are pretty worn out now and have a shape I don't really like, so I'll change them soon. I have a Rad 3 deck and a Farah bowl on the load area. The Rad 3 deck is supposedly lighter than the honeycomb board, and the Farah bowl is a great lightweight solution to still have a box for racing, but not compromise on weight. I originally used the bowl without the Rad 3 deck, but found that whatever was in the bowl would go down between the frame spars, which wasn't ideal. I like that I can quickly remove the bowl as well if I ever need to transport big or bulky items, as it's only attached with Velcro. I've put softer crutch feet on the bottom of the kickstand. I found the original hard plastic feet of the stand to be quite slippery, and the bike would scrape along when trying to take it off the stand before, especially when empty, but that doesn't happen with the crutch feet. It's also very slightly raised the bike, which is good for parking on uneven ground, which there is loads of in Berlin. I have the stock mudguards fitted as I ride in most weathers, though I'm always tempted to take them off in the summer for the look. Haven't done it yet, but maybe next year. I don't have a steering damper on this bike. I guess I'm just too slow to need one. My super accurate €8 digital suitcase scales say that it comes in at about 26 kilograms without a water bottle. That surprised me a bit as it feels lighter when I ride it, but you can see me shaking trying to hold it up for the camera, so maybe it's not as light as I thought. The general condition of the bike is, well, used. I use it anytime I don't need to transport my son or anything that will put me close to the maximum weight limit. It's also been dropped and scraped at the races and of course was a courier bike before it came into my ownership. I'm not one to baby my bikes and I believe they should be ridden. In fact, I've done almost 1,500 kilometers on this one since I got it. But I do have it in the back of my mind that this is an out of production colour and is still in pretty good nick, so I'd like to try and keep it that way if I can. As it stands, there's not much I'd change about this bike. Yes, I'll change the grip soon and the brake levers would be a nice touch, but as I'm using it for everyday riding and not just racing, I think I've got a good compromise between performance and usability. If money was no object, then I'd love to go all out and track down one of the few titanium steering arms that were privately produced. Then I'd get a Carbon Volution steering rod and easy up delete, as well as the Biker Head Composites carbon wheel set, but that would be over €4,000 worth of parts, which just isn't going to happen without a sponsorship. Well, that was my Miss Bullitt bike check. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about it, then please leave a comment, and if you'd like to see it in action at the races, then please subscribe to stay up to date, and I'd really appreciate you checking out my other videos. See you next time. You're not supposed to ride past me making it look like it's nothing.